Elden Ring patch 1.09 is live. We've got RTX, some PvP balance changes, and I've got an excuse to spend some time with my favorite game of 2022.
I've got RTX!
Did you say RTX?
RTX!
Where do you live?
From Software has been shy about allowing Elden Ring on pick-up-and-play services like GeForce Now. So if you want to enjoy the game, you're going to need a PC rental service like Shadow, or the brazen approach of Boosteroid. Playing Elden Ring on Shadow is particularly fitting. Did you know that Shadow's cloud tech was how Bandai Namco was able to allow journalists to try out the game? Let's get into it. The game installs in just under 20 minutes on the Power tier and closer to 30 minutes on Basic. I think the difference was due to more of a general bandwidth congestion. Internet speed tests yielded similar results between the services. As with all PC rental services, installation's a one-time delay unless you uninstall the game. Elden Ring is normally capped at 60 frames per second, so we're aiming to hit that if we can. Frames per second is important in real-time games that favor reflexes and pinpoint precision. Though Elden Ring has input buffering to help mitigate this issue, and it's not as reaction-reliant as first-person shooter games like Call of Duty, you'll still want tight controls and quick reactions. More on this later. Shadow's base tier can have trouble staying above 30 frames per second on any graphics level, even as low as 1080p. Strangely, the 4K graphics weren't slowing the game down as much as I expected, so the bottleneck may not be raw GPU power, but something else in how Elden Ring is built. Similarly, we're only getting small boosts in FPS as we change the graphics settings between maximum and low quality. Granted, this kind of performance is happening in wide open areas with lots of terrain and distant objects to render, and it's a bit smoother back at my favorite place in the whole wide world. She's a wonderful woman, isn't she? Base tier is running a Quadro P5000, which isn't something you should be turning RTX on. But what if we did? What if Basic Shadow has the power? Oh. Yeah, don't get too frisky with the RTX and the high settings on base tier. Bandai Namco will deem you unworthy. Even though you can play offline like this, you don't want to play a game like Elden Ring with terrible FPS. With your frames per second that low, your reaction time is going to suffer, and you're going to pay for it in blood. Remember that if your frames per second is at 60, you're getting visual feedback every 17 milliseconds. If it's all the way down to 10, you're getting visual data every 100 milliseconds. If your frames per second are low enough, it's just as bad as being half the world away from your cloud server. If you want RTX power, well then you're going to have to get a power upgrade. The power upgrade's having a much better time. I found I preferred playing on high graphics quality in 4K, which generally stays above 50 frames per second. Latency with Shadow was good to great depending on time. During primetime use, I had trouble maintaining a 4K stream without some video stuttering. Ooh, let's see that again. Yeah. Yikes. Oh. Here's me stuttering some more. Love that woman. Outside of a bit of slowdown during prime time, reactions control and stream quality did stay high. On my local Shadow server, this slowdown occurred between 10:30 p.m. and midnight before it went away. If you're playing in less than 4K resolution, this shouldn't affect you. There's no other fancy settings to test with Elden Ring. No DLSS, no FSR, and there was no RTX until now. With RTX on, you get these awesome lighting effects that make the whole world come alive just a little bit more. Check out the shadows on these dragons. The RTX comes with a performance price, however. If you're feeling a bit sluggish, I'd recommend dropping your resolution to 1440p. This helps a ton. If you're already playing on 1440 or a 1080 monitor, then feel free to go nuts with the settings and figure out what feels best. The power upgrade handles almost everything you throw at it at 1080 and 1440, and it still looks pretty freaking great. To sum this all up, the game's playable and enjoyable on the base Shadow tier, especially at 1080p, but you're going to see significant performance increases on the power upgrade. Something else to consider. If you're looking to return to the lands between to experience them with RTX on, without the power upgrade, it's simply not an option. RTX is going to be a trade-off for superior lighting effects in return for lower FPS or lower resolution, even on the power upgrade. Even Shadow's beefiest machines can't keep Elden Ring at 60 frames per second with all the settings maxed out. Elden Ring is my favorite game of 2022. From Software absolutely killed it with this game. Shadow, and specifically the power upgrade, will allow you to enjoy this masterpiece in a spectacular way. In fact, enjoy it like I do. I'm a little quick. I totally have it this time.